Iran has unveiled what it calls its first domestically made hypersonic missile, a move likely to heighten tensions with the West if it's true. According to state media, the precision-guided missile called فتاح can target anti-missile systems, penetrate the most advanced air defences, including Israel's Iron Dome. Iran says it can travel 1,400 kilometres per hour, for a range of 1,400 kilometres, almost 900 miles. Tehran calls it a generational leap in technology. Western analysts say Iran tends to, exaggerate, gild the lily a little bit about its missile capabilities. Trita Parsi is the Executive Vice President of the Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft. He is also author of Losing an Enemy. And it's been a while, and it is good to see you. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so Iran claims this new hypersonic missile, I think, can travel at Mach 15 times the speed of sound. They've warned in the past it can reach Israel in 400 seconds. So here's a little more now from the head of the Revolutionary Guard's Aerospace Force. Listen to this.
At a distance of 1,400 kilometers, we can accurately hit any target we want, and no anti-missile system can deal with it.
It is quite the boast. China, Russia, and North Korea all claim to have developed hypersonic missiles, which means Iran's inclusion on that list, I guess, was only a matter of time. Except here's the rub. Tehran has kind of a bit of a reputation for inflating the achievements of its missile program. Could these claims fall into that category?
They certainly could, and it perhaps would take much of the world by surprise if it turns out that they do have this capacity at this moment. What we do know at the same time is that even if they don't have it right now, they have achieved a lot of technological breakthroughs that were not expected. They have the largest arsenal of missiles in the Middle East, one of the largest at least, and their accuracy of their missiles is at a point that we did not expect them to be. So even if this specific thing may be a boast, it doesn't mean that a year from now, 2 years from now, they will not have this technology.
And the Iranian president, he's talked up the fact that this hypersonic missile was developed at home by domestic Iranian know-how and technology. Here's a little more.
This knowledge of missile making and science and defense, as well as missile and military industries, have been indigenous in our country. It is not an imported technology, so threats cannot remove this advanced knowledge and industry.
It seems kind of hard to believe that Tehran had no help from their BFFs in Moscow. Mind you, the Russian hypersonic missiles haven't worked so great in Ukraine to this point. Still, the point here seems to be this missile, if it was built or is being built, is happening despite a really tough regime of international economic and other sanctions, right?
Certainly. And the thing is, it's probably a significant exaggeration that this is all domestic technology in the sense that they have invented it. But in the sense that they are producing it at home, meaning that it is beyond the reach of various forms of sanctions, that is probably true because the Iranians have developed under sanctions in some aspects as a result of sanctions. A lot of these technologies and industries, all internally, in order to make sure that they have this know-how without it being subject to the dangers of sanctions disrupting it.
And the US State Department says it's aware of the claims. A spokesperson also noting about ongoing efforts to try and prevent Iran from developing this technology. Listen to this.
We continue to use a variety of non-proliferation tools, including sanctions, to counter the further advancement of Iran's ballistic missile program and its ability to proliferate missiles and related technology to others. I would say that despite the restrictions on Iran's missile-related activities under UN Security Council Resolution 2231, Iran continues to seek a range of missile technologies from foreign suppliers and to conduct ballistic missile tests in defiance of the resolution.
It's doing a lot more than seeking. It's getting by the sounds of things. And sanctions and isolation, they may be slowing Iran down a little bit here with its missile and nuclear programs, but they're not shutting those programs down completely. So at this point, what will?
Well, first of all, you're absolutely right. Sanctions and isolation have not worked. And that is absolutely clear. If they would have worked, we would not be in the current situation. The only time the United States has succeeded in changing a core Iranian national security policy has been through diplomacy and the negotiations that took place around the JCPOA. That's the only example the United States has of being able to shift Iran's policy. Sanctions and all of these different measures at times slow down their progress, but at the same time tend to intensify their determination to get that technology.
So what are we looking at here? Maybe sort of reviving, the nuclear agreement in spirit, if you like, which has been on hold for so very long, to try and slow down these illicit programs, both their missile program and their nuclear program.
Well, perhaps not the specific version of the JCPOA that was reached in 2015, but JCPOA is also not the only way in which diplomacy could achieve an agreement. There could still be negotiations that would address some of these issues and still would have an impact, but it may not be entirely within the framework of the JCPOA. I think it's important to recognize at the same time, the Saudis, for instance, they spent $75 billion on weapons last year. The Iranians spent $6 billion. The Saudis are outspending the Iranians with a factor of 11. The Israelis are outspending the Iranians with a factor of 3.5. Bottom line is there's a lot of weapons and a lot of arms purchases in the region. If we want to reduce it, we need to have a comprehensive approach toward it. No single country is going to do it unilaterally.
It's a good point to finish on, Trita. Thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.